What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Just Joshin. Today we got a very special guest. I used to do boxing for about 2 years, and this is my coach. His name is Coach Frankie. Currently living in Florida, just like my grandparents, living life with the wonderful weather. But yeah, we're gonna hop right into it. I'm excited for this one. So welcome, Coach Frank. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. It's good to be joshing with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm
Dale?
excited to see you, man. I actually haven't seen you in so long. It's good to see your familiar face. And
Thank you.
I can't wait to have a nice conversation with you
Sorry, I'm
on
not
the
better.
show. Yeah, right. Nah, you're perfect. You look perfect. But I'm excited to have the conversation on the show, and then maybe talk a little bit after too. But I want to start
Awesome.
it off. First things first. We had the Super Bowl happen recently, and it was down in Florida. So I want to talk like was the experience like crazy down there or anything, or I don't know if you
It was
live
different. It was
um
different.
different. Yeah.
My wife, she's always involved in everything. So she's like, she comes home, she's like, oh yeah, I got tasked to be a ambassador for the Super Bowl, and I'm like, what? And so she literally. I don't know how the heck she does this stuff, but anyway, she works for college down here.
Yeah.
I teach, and so she ended up getting to meet like the mayor of Kansas City and like delegates from like
No
every
way.
city. So she actually really got to enjoy it.
Did she
And
go to the game?
no, she was
Oh, okay.
just wanted. I guess she was a volunteer, and she ended up getting a whole bunch of swag. She like got like Super
Oh,
Bowl
okay.
55 jerseys or not jerseys, but like
Shirts and
sweaters,
stuff.
and
Yeah.
hats.
Oh, okay.
So it was pretty neat. She got a water bottle. She got to be a part of it. But she always finds a way to make it exciting.
Yeah.
What I could say is it was funny for me. It was surreal that they did the weather. And usually when you hear like, oh, the Super Bowl, it may rain, you're like, who cares? I'm not there.
Yeah.
But
Right.
actually, it made sense to me when they were like, oh my God, it might rain for the Super Bowl. And I was like, oh shoot, it might rain on my house, like where I live. And
Oh, so
it
you
actually
you did move
was
down to
surreal.
Tampa?
Oh yeah, we live north of Tampa, so
I
we're right there.
oh, okay. Yeah. I remember. What was it? You moved what, a year or two ago?
August of 2020.
Okay. So yeah. Oh, okay. So only coming up on like 6 or 7 months.
Yeah,
But I remember hearing the news, and I didn't actually. All I heard was you were moving to Florida, so I didn't know exactly the specifics of it. But I want to talk. I actually do want to talk more about that moving to Florida. So when did you know you wanted to?
all right. I'm very spiritual. Like I love God,
Yes, sir.
and I think with everything going on in New York, I got this feeling that was just like, um, I need to move to Florida, and it
Mm-hmm.
was so surreal. It was one of those things where we hadn't even sold our house yet. I had jobs in Syracuse, and
Yep.
my wife had been at the college there for 8 years, so it was a very with tenure. So it's kind of a
Yeah.
scary move
No.
altogether
Yeah. The big
to
jump.
set
Big jump.
and I honestly stepped out on faith, and everything just fell in place.
Nice.
So my house sold within 2 days. I got hired into a real good school district down here,
Mm-hmm.
and I fell in love with the staff, students, and it was a really good move. So and it turned out to be a scary move, but a good move. So sometimes stepping out in faith, um, it reaps that good reward
Yeah.
of unexpected, like like a treasure
Yeah.
that you weren't expecting to have.
Exactly. I'm so happy for you, bro. I'm glad you're having a great time down there with your family, and I'm glad everything worked out for you. But that's awesome that you were able to make that transition so smoothly. Because I know a lot of people that make that like that jump or that leap. They say like the leap of faith, like you were saying, and like sometimes it doesn't pan out, and then you got to start from square one. But I'm glad you were able to just kind of took the bull by the horns, and it worked. So
I give God all the glory.
yes, sir. But I do want to talk about the teaching as well. You got a job at do you work at elementary school, or is it middle school, or
Elementary. I
nice?
love my kids.
Yeah,
I love the community, the diversity.
yeah.
I've always been a person that I love culture and I love
Hmm.
diversity. And some pockets of Syracuse, you work out in the
Oh yeah,
suburbs and you get a different demographic. You work in the city, you get a different demographic. But I've always been a diverse person, so I love culture. I think that's the fruit of life, is having so many people from different worlds. And actually, my students are very diverse. A
Yeah.
lot of Hispanic, African American, Caucasian, Native American, and it makes me happy that I have so many different cultures that I get to work with and learn
Mhm.
from, as well as teach.
Yeah.
So
I think it's cool too, like with the different cultures you were saying, because you can learn so many different things, and like understand how people grew up, understand like what they've learned, and like it's just so many different things you can learn from kids and adults, like parents and stuff too. I'm sure.
yeah, so we did a birthday party for my daughter. My daughter's in my school. I get to teach my daughter as well,
Nice.
my little baby.
Yep.
And she is third grader, and so she invites these girls from her class,
Yeah.
and it was just so cool to me and surreal that she had such a diverse group of girls at her birthday party, and
Oh
that's kind
yeah.
of where it spiles it. She's similar to me in that she had like two girls from like every culture there, and I
Mhm.
just thought that was pretty neat how it was like such a diverse birthday party versus it being just one demographic that maybe she related
Yeah.
to more than another. So I thought that was pretty neat, and again, and I thought that was cool. How her class is like that as well
Yeah.
versus she just basically chose girls from her class, but her class was so diverse that she was able to find friends from so many different backgrounds.
Yeah, when I student taught at Central Square, I the demographic was pretty much all the same. And
Yep.
then when I went to Lynn Court in like a very small district in Syracuse, it was again like you were saying, it's so diverse, and it was really interesting to see all the different like types of cultures, like you were saying, and it's definitely a move from Syracuse to Florida, where Florida again has like,
Correct.
because I think it's because it's so south and it's right near like where all those like other like countries are. So
Country.
yeah, so
Yeah.
people come from there, and it just makes it a big pool of different cultures for sure.
I agree. Agree
And
completely.
yeah, it's cool.
I'm
It's definitely
still
cool.
I'm still learning the sunshine standards too. They have like, so we have the New York State APERD governing body of our, like,
Oh yeah,
as a
yeah, yeah.
phys ed,
Yep.
New York State phys ed, and in Florida it's the sunshine state standards.
Oh
I think
okay.
they actually are just changing it now, but I'm still learning their um, basically their guidelines and
Yeah.
curricular strength. And but what's cool is it's all governed by shape. So,
Oh yeah.
and
So
as you
yeah.
know, the national
Yeah,
standards kind
yeah.
of like set the tone. And as long as the curriculum aligns with the national standards, then you're going to do well wherever you go,
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
we know New York, and then coming into Florida just kind of piggybacks off of
Yeah.
the shape.
So so like obviously shape is like the national standards. You have the national, and then does Florida, like you're saying, Florida has its own state standards, kind of like how New York does.
Correct, and it
Okay,
aligns with the shape. So
gotcha.
similar to like New York, when you're looking through the guidelines, you'll see something that will be like S2 for grade
Yeah, yeah,
3.
yeah. Okay,
Basically, it shows that you could look that up on a shape standard, and
gotcha.
it will align to it.
Yeah,
So I find actually really am impressed with the Florida education system. I have to say, my like, because we're in New York, so we're thinking, oh man, we're New
yeah.
York, we have the best education system in the country, and
Oh,
da 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 da.
That's what New York claims. So
Right, and then you get here and I'm like, wow, I'm like, they're still they leave kids back if they don't meet the state standard for the grade. So there's kids in my daughter's class that have been left back. There's
really,
kids in other classes that are a little older. So my son is getting ready to go into high school now, and everybody there is like, wow, he's so young to be going into high school. And he has kids that are older than him in a grade, like in seventh grade. He's in eighth grade, and he
wow,
has kids that are
what?
older than him in seventh grade. So they're like, everybody thinks he should be in seventh grade.
Oh my, that's crazy. That's wild. Oh my goodness, I didn't know
Yeah,
that. They,
yeah,
I think New York people get held like that held back like terminology, but you don't see it that often. So you're saying it's more
correct.
profound? It's more profound in Florida.
Yeah, I would say I'm noticing it more.
Yeah.
So
Damn, that's crazy. But I also do want to talk about coaching. You obviously that's how I met you. Did
yeah, yeah.
boxing with you. I see on your Instagram you're still doing boxing. Do you have a coaching job on the side as well?
Well, it's man, it's so cool how God works. I come down. I met the head coach of the wrestling coach
Yeah.
of the high school here where we live.
Okay.
And out of nowhere, my son, Francesco's a little stud. he goes in and he starts doing really well against all these wrestlers that are like state champs and top
Mm-hmm.
level. So people start asking questions, and I'm like, oh yeah, my son's been doing this since he was young. He's trained under Gene Mills, who we both know and love.
Did they
He's my
know who Gene
mentor.
Mills was?
Oh, everybody knows who Gene is. So I'm like, Francesco's been thrown around by everybody
That's
for years
awesome.
and
That's
years.
awesome.
So
That's awesome.
wherever he goes, he's kind of like he doesn't have to be the best, but he's not going to be the
Yeah.
worst in the
Ex-
room,
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
they can respect because when you come from our pedigree
Mm-hmm.
of training, it's a good feeling that you can go anywhere
Yep.
and that's going to still hold its level versus you train under some other people and you go somewhere else and all of a sudden you realize everything you learned was wrong.
Yeah.
So well,
Or just not good enough. Like sometimes that's just how it
correct.
is. And
Well, Francesco did awesome.
yeah.
Try to stay on task with what you're asking. He did awesome. I met a couple people at the high school, and he got on the club team, and then I was invited to go to a open gym session at one of
Okay.
these gyms. Like, oh, we heard you're a pro boxer, and you're or a former pro boxer, and all this good stuff. And so I popped in. I looked, I watched, I observed for a
Mm-hmm.
little bit, and then I kind of like started licking my lips. I'm watching these guys like doing some sparring, and you know how I am.
Yes,
You know
sir.
me.
Of
And
course.
so
Yeah.
basically I was like, oh, let me get my mouth guard out the car. I always keep my mouth guard on me just in case I
Yeah.
get the itch. And so I throw it in and I do some work with the guys, and within a few moments they're like, whatever we want to know, and they're like, hey, how do we get you in here teaching?
No
And
way. That's
hired
amazing.
me hired me on the spot, and it was kind of a cool thing. And that's one thing that I love too is that I've always had this feeling that I can go anywhere in the world and use the skills that I've worked very hard for. They didn't come easy. It wasn't natural as much as it was hard work.
Yeah.
And like a plumber that's been plumbing for 20 years. There's not many pipes under the sink he's going to see that he doesn't understand or know
Mm-hmm.
how to maneuver. And that's kind of the similar thing with boxing and coaching to stay on task with what you're asking. And so basically I got in there, and now I've been helping guys, and I believe we have some fights coming up either this week or next week. So I'm
Nice.
excited to be helping out and still able to play a part in helping others succeed and reach their goals through my life knowledge.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have so is there like any because I know at Ultimate Athletics when we were there was some Bellator fighters. Is there any like semi-pro fighters at that gym that you're at right now?
Yeah, the owner is actually like he's a pro Muay Thai fighter, and
Oh, really?
yeah, he does grappling and pro. He does at that elite level. I guess he was in the movie too, Never Back Down. So he's
Oh,
kind of like got that little celeb status too, which is
Dang.
cool. He's so humble though, so
Is he? That's
humble,
awesome. Yeah.
such a cool dude. And honestly, he's a like-minded individual, loves God, and that's kind of what secured it for me was
Yes.
finding another person who loved God and kind of wears himself on his sleeve and comes across very genuine,
Mm-hmm.
humble, and real. And so when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I'll put my name on this. I'll get involved. And to me, I'm constantly humbled by them because they're all very elite. They know their
Yeah.
stuff. It reminds me of UA where
Yeah.
everybody's expert in their field, and we don't really, and you know what I mean. Like you're not
No.
coming
Yeah.
into Muay Thai for me.
Yeah.
I'm stick to boxing. They stick to Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, and grappling, wrestling. So
Yeah. That's it's amazing. It's like the last piece of the puzzle, and you just kind of put it in place, and that's awesome. But you mentioned pro boxing. I want to brush up on that. You technically have been. How many fights did you have as a pro, like under the pro title?
okay, so yeah, I only had a couple pro fights. I ended up winning them both. But I fought hundreds of times as an amateur.
Oh
I
yeah.
fought since 1998. I was fighting. I mean, I got more fights when I was a kid
Yeah.
in the street. I was always fighting. So I honestly went to boxing to kind of like protect myself. I felt like I have like this kind of attitude that
Yeah.
I don't know how to bite my tongue in some situations, and
Yeah.
that's how I felt as a young kid. And I didn't want to be put in a situation where I couldn't defend myself because I felt righteous in a statement
Yeah.
or something. That someone tried to attack me, and I wanted to know how to defend myself. And before I knew it, I fell in love with boxing, and that just became my go-to. I ended up fighting for the Army for a couple of years. I
Yep.
won the Golden Gloves, and I fought international, tournaments with the Canadian team, international between the U.S. and Canada,
Hmm.
and a bunch of stuff. Empire State Games, I got to travel all over the state and stay at different colleges as a kid, and I got the bronze medal in that. So I got to do a lot of cool stuff while getting my education and actually coaching at the same time. And I think that coaching and fighting at the same time helped me get better,
Yeah,
because when you
for
teach
sure.
somebody,
Yeah,
you don't want to teach them wrong. So you have to perfect it in order to instruct it perfectly,
exactly. Yeah.
or else, who wants to teach somebody and then someone else walk over and be like, who taught you that? So I never
Oh, that
wanted to
would be
be
the
that kind of
worst. That would be
teacher.
the
Yeah,
worst.
yeah.
But who, if you could think back to like all of your fight, any fight, amateur or pro, who or which fight comes to mind as like the hardest or the toughest one?
Ugh.
Win or loss. Win or loss.
I mean, I got a lot of fights.
No, yeah, yeah.
So I don't know which one you were looking for. You looking for a glory story, or you looking for just one that I got my face kicked in, or you
Let's do both. Let's
one
do
that I
both.
know.
We'll do both. Let's do a glory story and one you got the snot kicked out of you.
Let's see. Wow, I got a lot.
I'm sure you
Um,
probably got so many under your belt.
yeah, I know. You got to imagine I'm probably a little punchy too. Trying to remember which one I'm gonna like mix three fights
Yeah,
together.
coach, you never. Sometimes you couldn't remember our names. So yeah.
Um, so the 2004 Golden Gloves was probably an awesome glory story for me, because I had fought a bunch of times. Like, people don't realize, like, I fought in the gloves every year,
Hmm.
and I remember losing it in 2003 in a close split decision loss, and that was a trip to Vegas. My best friend won, Ray's grandson, and I was so mad. I was just so hurt.
Yeah.
And I actually, the next year, I went up in weight class. Instead of fighting at 165, which I had always got to 165, I was like, you know what, I'm going to stay at 78 for this fight. And the 2004 year, I stayed at 78, and I remember it like yesterday. I had all these famous, like Tracy Patterson was there. He's the world champ.
Yeah.
And he was there for another fighter, but my family is married into, like, Floyd Patterson, the famous heavyweight boxer. Before Mike Tyson, he was the youngest heavyweight champ. So basically, my cousin Mickey, Alagna, him and Floyd married sisters, and they were best friends.
Hmm.
And so we became a joint family kind of thing, where my dad used to ride in Floyd's limo.
Gotcha. Wow.
He used to come to my family's like places business in New York City and Queens.
Wow.
And so anyway, long story long, he was there at the fight. And it was so cool that, like, Tracy Patterson was there, who's Floyd's adopted son.
Yeah.
And he's talking to me. My uncle came up from New York City to watch me fight. My father was there. My family was there. And then we had this, like, awesome fight with this kid who won it the year before from Rochester. And he took a shot at me, man, and I felt like the wind rushed through my hair, and I felt like if that shot would have hit me, the fight would have been over.
Wow.
And I would have been out. But it missed, and then I kind of came back with a shot with a hook off the ropes, and he took the stairs, we call it, where he just went down all the way down, and it was such a good feeling in front
That's
of all these
awesome.
people.
Oh my
And
God.
and it was just such a big win in front of all my family and friends, and I
Mhm.
just cherished that. I was like, because when you lose fights, it stinks. So it's
Yeah.
like, when you get that type of a win at that height of a level, I was like, awesome. And I was just on cloud nine for a
Oh
long
yeah,
time.
that's awesome.
And that was my glory story. And then I guess getting beat up, 2008. 2008, my last Golden Gloves before I decided to go pro. I'm fighting. So I got a great story. Me and Ray. You met my pops, Ray.
Yep.
Who's like been my best friend, my mentor for many, many years.
Yeah,
And,
he's like I can't remember the exact correlation or like association with my family, but like everyone in my family, remember like it was like
oh, you're related to Ray.
yeah,
Ray.
Rage Gym, the one in the west side.
No, you're Ray Gardinsky though.
Yes,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think you're related to Ray and
Yes,
Jillian.
one of them. I don't remember. I've kind of grown apart
Well,
from the my dad's side,
Yeah.
but I remember like you were saying something about it one fight, or like I think it was my second amateur fight. You were talking about it, and I'm like, oh, I know him. Like, and then it
Yeah.
was funny, but
Well, Ray's grandson Damien married
okay,
Jillian, and Jillian, I believe, is a Gardinsky. I
yep,
believe her brother Ray, who we all kind of grew up together.
yeah,
Um, he's related to your family somehow. But
yeah,
anyway,
yeah, yeah.
I'm standing there with Ray, and I had just come off a big win. I beat this Russian kid
Mm-hmm.
the night before, and back in the day, you fought in the gloves every day.
That's
So I
crazy.
remember
That's so
I beat this
crazy.
Russian kid the night before. This is 2008 now, and I mean, I won good. The
Yeah.
Russian kid was all bloody, and I was like, man, everybody was like, oh, you got this. And so the next day, I wake up in the morning. So I weighed 165 again. I went back down to 165, and I weighed 170 when I woke up, or
Mm.
172, whatever it was. I was like, oh shoot, I have to get back on the scale today and be 65. So I get up at my house, the house that we just sold.
Yep.
I've been there since I won the Golden Gloves. That's how long I've been at this house.
Yeah.
And I throw a garbage bag on, sauna suit, and I run 9 miles. So I have a route. I have different routes. So I think
Yeah.
I ran 7 miles and not the 9, or maybe whatever. I have a 5, then a 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just keep adding to it. So I think I ran the long one because I was like, I got to lose 7 pounds. I don't know how I'm going to do this. So I ran with the sauna suit on. I get in my car. I drive to the weigh-ins. Keep the sauna suit on because I'm like, I got to sweat all the way to this thing
Yeah.
right after running. I get there, I take everything off, and I'm 165.1 or
Oh
2.
my god.
And like, so I went to the bathroom real quick. I came back, I was good, and then I have to rehydrate now,
Mm-hmm.
and I fight at 3 o'clock. So it must have been like 10 or 11 o'clock, and I have like 4 hours to rehydrate, and I was really, it was a tough day. Then I get in line to I get all set up to fight. I get my gloves, I got my headgear, I'm standing there with Ray, and I look in front of me, and there's this gargantuan man. He is so tall, all I could see is the back. I can see his back. I can't even see past his back. And Ray's looking at me, and Ray's so funny. He's like an
Yeah. Yeah.
old school Italian guy, old school coach, and he goes, we're not fighting him, right? And I'm like, and I'm thinking it's so funny. So the funniest part about it is
Oh my god.
I think that the guy hears him, because it's like a big guy, we're right behind him. It's like, you don't say that close. So anyway, so I look at Ray and I go, I don't care who we're fighting. I hope we're fighting him. So
Oh no, bro.
and because I wanted him to hear that after, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, I hope we're not fighting this dude. But I wanted him to, no, I wasn't
Oh
afraid.
my god.
And so, anyway, long story again. I get out there. It is the guy I'm fighting.
Oh
and
no.
He is 6'4".
Oh my
He looks
god.
like Tommy Hearns, and he's undefeated pro, like 7-0 with 7 knockouts now. But
Wow.
anyway, so yeah, he almost won the nationals that year. So, but long story long, I get out there with him, and the first round, he is lightning. Every punch. I don't think he missed me. I think his statistics would have been like 100% because he just was lightning.
Oh
I
my
felt like I
god.
got hit by a drum. Like it was like there was so many combos.
Coach,
And,
did you land any punches?
not the first round.
Basically just a body bag out there.
I was moving around trying to survive the first round.
That's
and
so
he
funny.
was all over me like white on rice or whatever.
Oh my
And
god.
so the second round comes, and I kind of I'm getting a little bit more footing. I think I landed maybe 1 or 2 punches the second round, and maybe he was only at like 50% accuracy and landing, but he still clobbered me. But the third round, it was kind of cool because I ended up getting inside on him on the third round. I kind of adjusted. I learned how to get to him. As a big, tall guy, you got to get to the body
get
first.
close,
Work your way up. Got to break down the trunk of the tree.
Yep.
The head moves, the body doesn't. So I got inside. I hit the body really hard with some body shots, and then I caught him with a shot, and he grabbed me and held. And when he did that, I was like, ooh, I actually got a chance. So I started going at him as hard as I could.
Yeah.
I finished up the third round. It was really close. And then the fourth round, I went after him for the whole round. And a lot of people thought it was like a pretty close fight, like the ones that saw the last 2 rounds. but the ones that saw the first two
Yeah, I know. They were just
probably
like,
realized it wasn't as close.
yeah.
But it was I know that I felt good even though he won. I gained his respect for sure.
Nice.
Like he was a really good dude. And I remember when I fought later on that year, I went professional and I fought in the War Memorial, right? The On Center War Memorial, and it was awesome because that's where Carmen Basilio,
Yeah.
fought the world title, all that. I got to like live like this kind of awesome moment, and it was so cool because even in the paper when we won, it said pro boxing returns to Syracuse, and it had my picture on the front page of the sports
Really?
section, and that was my debut, and it felt really good to like be a part of that history in Syracuse
Nice.
with boxing and pro boxing, bringing it back to the forefront, getting a win, but when I got out of the ring on my pro fight, my pro debut, I get the win, and I'm ecstatic. I'm
Mhm.
on like cloud nine. I
Yep.
won my first pro fight. It's real. It happened. And I'm walking down the stairs. This is 6 months since the Golden Gloves, right? So it was November of the same year, November 2008, and I fought in like May or April or May, whenever it was. All of a sudden I'm running and I see a crowd of people to see me, and like this is like that same feeling I got when I won the Golden Gloves, where just everybody was celebrating with me. And as I'm running up to getting close to all my friends and family, I look and I see this big freaking gargantuan man push through all the people I love and get up front and go, Frankie! Give me a big hug and picked me up and was like, congratulations. And it was the same kid who kicked my ass
No
at
way.
the gloves. So to me, that speaks for itself.
Yeah.
What I love about boxing is that you could fight somebody and then
Be best friends with them.
be best friends. And
Yeah.
I think that's the greatest thing about combat
Sports
sports
in
and
general,
stuff,
yeah, for sure.
correct. And to this day, we still have, an awesome friendship and bond through combat.
Yeah.
Obviously I wanted to win, but I didn't hate him or hold any
No,
ill
yeah.
regard. If anything, I wanted him to succeed even more just to, kind of like add to the fame of my fight. Let him be the world champ of the world.
Exactly.
I could be like, yeah, I fought that champ of the world. He really is that good.
I know. You see that champion right there? That's the guy. I got my butt kicked by him, but I fought him. I fought that guy. No,
He fought all those champions. Did they have everything? Did they have anything in common? Yeah, they all kicked my ass.
Oh my god, he beat every one of them senseless. Exactly.
Yeah, they all got to punch me once.
Oh my. We were talking. You said something about split decision. When you said that, that reminded me of my second fight when I lost.
Yeah.
My two fights. You were saying that you felt on cloud nine when you won, and I only had two fights, but my first one when it was at the state fair, which was crazy, it was like in front of a lot of people, more than I anticipated on my first fight. When I won that one, it was like the best feeling ever, like you were saying. And again,
I was so proud of you.
Yeah, I was amazing, and I will never forget like when it was the second round. Because one, there was two reasons I kept like doubting myself. I was like, I don't know if I can go into the third round. And then you like almost not slap me, but it's like one of those moments in a movie when they slap the guy across the face and like you need to like listen. That was what it felt like, because you stopped me and you were like, you're gonna go out there, you're gonna win this game, your fight, and then blah blah blah. Like you just said whatever you said, and I took it and I went out and won. But it was funny because I lost a contact the second round, so I was half blind. And then, but I remember you still believed in me. You pushed me, and I was forever grateful for that. And I always, anytime I work out now, or like anytime I do things where I'm like tired, but I know I only have like 30 seconds left, or like I just need to do like a few more reps or something. I always think back to that fight, or I always just think back to when I boxed, because you got 10 seconds left in the round, just finish it out. Like, do what you can. And that I learned from you, and it was one of the greatest things I could take. I love it. But yeah, I've always gotten great advice from you, and that's one thing I can attest to. Anytime I do anything that's related to like fighting or working out, like I said, I always push a little harder, just because I've been down to like zero stamina before, but I've always found a way to push through, because you've always told us that like it doesn't get much worse than this, so just keep pushing. And that is one thing I've always taken from boxing, and from you teaching me. and I appreciate
Thank you.
that. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. And I want to give you a little bit of credit.
All right.
One thing you did that really touched me a long time ago, and I didn't really I mention it too much because,
Oh yeah.
I just thought you were being a good friend. But what you did for Wayne and Wayno
Oh yeah.
all those years, pushing him, keeping him on task, and you were there with me when we were able to push him to get him under 350, and it
Mhm.
was such a good feeling. For me, it's weird. I think as a coach, I get so much satisfaction. Like I'm almost selfish with it.
Mhm.
I want you to win because I feel good for you. And I wanted him to lose that weight because I wanted to feel good for him. And what I saw you do for him, and then I remember us going out to the beach and going and playing football. And I'll never forget that day. That was such an amazing day. Wayne's face was like a little kid who was so happy. He made his goal. He set a goal. He hit his goal. It was a great day. And then and when we got to the beach, it was literally me, you, Wayne, and I think my son
Yeah,
Francesco.
Francesco was there too. Yeah.
And it would, but the fact is it was like we all shared that moment
Yeah.
of celebration with Wayne, and I really like knew you had what it took to be an educator, coach, phys ed specifically,
Mhm.
when you were there and you were able to stand by his side all the way through that, help him hit his goal, and celebrate that goal with him. That's right there, coaching 101, is
Yeah.
helping someone else hit a goal that the only satisfaction we receive is by seeing them succeed.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's what a great coach, in my opinion, is you got to be willing to invest a lot in another person's success for their satisfaction, for
Yeah.
their glory, and then whatever comes back to you, hey, that's great. But to see another person's life change, like you're mentioning now, you still carry over talks when you're doing workouts.
Yeah.
So that right there means the coaching was sustainable versus a momentary victory. You use boxing to achieve other things in life, like a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Like a stepping stone. So you're like, hey, I knew I could. I didn't think I could do it that last 30 seconds. I did. Now I'm able to do that this extra 30 seconds here in the gym
Yeah.
on this cardio workout or whatever it is. And I think that alone will help you help others and yourself in the future.
Yeah. I that's one thing I've always loved, just helping people, even if I don't make like you have the opportunity to make more of an impact than I would. Like if I was, because like going to boxing lessons while you were like helping other people, I would always try to help the like people who just starting, and that's those people might not remember things that I've taught them, but in the time they were like they would listen, and like it's nice to be able to see people progress, like you were saying too. And
And
again,
trust me, you helped me out, and what you don't realize is someone new coming into the gym. You got to imagine you have two fights, so you're further down the road than they are, and they look up to you more than you know. Yeah, you're not the coach, you're not the whatever,
yeah,
but you still are a person that has achieved something that maybe they may never even get a chance to do.
yeah,
What they might just get to sparring and not do anymore. You were able to get to sparring, do well in sparring, build confidence, train, set up a match with another fighter. I'll tell you, that takes a lot. And a
yeah,
lot of people are good at mitts and good at bags, but
mm-hmm.
very few can schedule fights with another person who's the same weight, height to some degree, build, experience level, and then come out victorious. So when someone's talking to you, that helped me out because I was helping someone new or I was helping someone else, and by looking over and seeing I had you, that gave me the opportunity to spread help to others that may need it a little
Yeah.
more at the moment.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. And yeah, like you were saying, it's people don't realize how like hard it is to even setting it up. I understand from your point of view, but also just stepping into the ring like on fight
Yeah,
day. Like
yeah.
I remember for like 8 hours I was so nervous, and then after the first round I was just like, all right, this is real, like we're in it,
It's happening.
it's happening. There's no way out. I'm fighting
It's like
right now.
jumping out of a plane.
No,
After you jump out, you're like, well, I'm here. Now
now I
what
don't
am I
know.
going to do? Now it's time to survive.
No, yeah, but I definitely was nervous, and I'd still get nervous. No matter who it is, even if I like say I knew it was the easiest fight of my life, I would still be nervous because you're
Yeah.
out there, and if you make a mistake, that could cost you. Like it's great, like it's definitely a fun thing in life to do. So definitely one of my most memorable things. Fighting is definitely one of my most memorable, and I
And you did
actually
well. You did well. You're real sharp. You could have kept going.
yeah, I that's one
You
thing I
know.
wish I did, but I think at the time I was going to school and so I had to
Yep.
leave, but um
Well, you
but
definitely were an athlete, so you had the all around athlete. So
yeah, tried my best. And then my nose every time it got touched it started bleeding, so that was fun. But you have any questions for me, coach?
I mean, well, I see that you're doing awesome. You have this podcast, and you have a. Is she your fiance now, or just
Yes,
your
yes
girlfriend?
sir, fiance.
So congratulations to
Thank
you and
you.
your fiance. I'm so happy to see that you're like building a life with someone. And I know you mentioned even, you know, planning on making a move someday.
At some point, yeah.
Um, I guess my only question would be, how's life for you? How is things going after college? And how are you settling into, this new world that we're in?
Yeah, I know. I was just about to say COVID is kind of putting everything in like the weirdest place. As soon as I graduated, I had a coaching job lined up. I had potential. I was like, and like schooling was more like normalized, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
But all of that went straight out the window as soon as COVID hit. I lost. I didn't lose the coaching job. I just I never had the opportunity to do it.
yeah,
Um, and then teaching has just been so uh, iffy. It's been so in the air, and I'm just waiting to kind of. I still have to finish my TPA. I'm
yeah.
gonna admit I'm slacking, but it's just so
Get
it's.
that done.
I
It,
know I
I
got it.
literally got a tutor to help me with it. That's
Yeah,
how hard it was.
it's
So don't trust me. It's
yeah.
it's
And I think what happened was, and I say it all the time. I got demoralized. I got kicked to the ground because I failed it the first time, and so
yeah,
I was like, damn, I don't know if I want it. Like this is sucks. And yeah, that was a bad moment. And then I've been pushing it off, but I really need to dial down and do it. But work is good. I've just been working, making money, trying to save up. I want to buy a house at some point, obviously, but
nice. Nice.
um it's a lot of money, a lot of things. There's so many moving parts with a house that I don't even like realize. Like
Yeah,
I'll sit down with my uncle and talk to him, and there's just so many things that go into house buying. Plus, Rachel wants to have a wedding at some point, but I told her I want a wedding too, but I want it post COVID because I don't
yeah,
want to have to only invite 20 people and we all have to stay
yeah,
6 feet from each other. Like, no, I want to
yeah,
have a fun wedding, enjoy
yeah.
it, and then but yeah, other than
Have
that,
some normalcy to your wedding.
exactly. No, yeah, normalcy. Other than that, I'm just trying to save up, move out, and just keep grinding. The YouTube videos and the podcast. I've been trying to get that. The only hard part about it. I feel comfortable talking to anybody. It's just getting guests on because
Oh, okay.
I'm such a small creator. Like
Yeah,
most like if I ever message people or call people, like they're probably like, nah, this guy only has 80 subscribers. Like it's gonna happen. But eventually, once it blows up, and then those same people don't ever or the same people
yep.
that are like, hey, let me get on your show. No, sorry, you didn't want to.
Sorry, I'm
You
busy.
didn't. You didn't want to at the first time, so it's your fault.
You missed out on the garden
Exactly.
gnome.
Exactly. The garden, no, baby. Yes, sir. But I appreciate you taking your time. This is a great episode. We had it's definitely a little longer than most of them, but I don't want to ever stop good conversation because I enjoyed it. I loved listening. I love listening to your boxing stories, and just kind of some nostalgia talking about the boxing and then like teaching and stuff. And I'm glad you're doing well. I'm very happy for you. It's amazing to talk to you. But just a final thank you for joining me on the Just Joshin show, Just Joshin podcast, whatever people are gonna call it. But
Yeah.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me. And I wish you the best of luck and success in all you do. And you know, just keep pushing for your NTPA, keep pushing for your goals. Those things mean a lot to me because your success is still, even though I'm not your coach in the ring
Yeah,
right now, I still want to see you achieve. And I think that if you let anything stand between you and a position that you could be helping somebody, you know, that's a barrier that, whatever you got to do. Like for me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm older than you. So when I was doing the NCPA, a lot of people told me, they were like, I failed the first time. I had a lot of people, and I almost failed. I'm not lying. I hired a tutor through my school, which I was very fortunate.
Mm-hmm.
My school covered that, and I met with this person who got a very high score on the NCPA. She was a teacher, and she literally would review, and by doing that, that gave me a little bit more of a clear insight as to what they are looking for at the state level when
Yeah.
you submit your NCPA. And then again, I had my wife helping me out, who's a star, and
Yeah.
so basically she always like, you got to put in italics for my credit on your masters and all that stuff. I have to tell you, I'm a kid who came from nothing. I had a GED and I
Mm-hmm.
went to the Army because I felt like I could at least serve my country and find my merit in that.
There you go. Yeah.
In 2000 when I joined.
Mm-hmm.
But after I gained a little confidence from getting my associates and my bachelor's, I was like, wow, I can get a master's degree. I can be a teacher,
Yep.
and I can help others, not just the ones that it comes naturally to. I can help the people that struggle like I did.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we can be the strongest, because who's going to know what it feels like to fail a big test like that better than you?
Mm-hmm.
You can reach down and help somebody, whereas somebody else is like, I don't know how you failed. You should have studied harder. And realistically, it's the hardest test. It's honestly, it's like, it reminds me of the LSAT,
It's
which
so
which
hard.
I took
Yeah.
and failed. I took the LSAT and failed. I was going to be a lawyer,
I think.
and I didn't fail. I just didn't get a
No.
high
Yeah.
enough score to get into SU, and I
Gotcha.
was really upset in
Yeah.
2010 or 2011 when I took it.
The thing with the TPA though too, I don't think like when people who don't take it, when they say like, how is the test that hard? It's not even like a test. You kind of just, it's not like a sit down bubble and answers.
Yeah.
It's like a whole process of different pieces of a puzzle that you need
Oh
to
yeah.
put together. And I don't think people that don't take EdTPA quite realize like how strenuous it is, especially in
A
New
lot of
York.
people a lot of people realize it's kind of, they say it's like writing a dissertation. It's basically like writing something and then presenting it to a board of educators
Yeah.
who are going to pick it apart
Yep.
and send you back
Yeah.
where you basically, here, you got a 2 for this, you could have got 15, you got a 2. You're like,
Yeah.
why? Like,
I know. Oh
you know
my god.
so, or no, excuse me, you could have got 5 points, you get like 1.
No.
And you
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
wrote your heart out, and you're
I
like,
know.
that's all I got.
I know.
So, but again, I don't want you to get discouraged. I want you to keep pushing for your goals. That's it. And even now, I still want to see you succeed. I hope this podcast goes viral,
Yes,
and you do well. And I'm glad that I could be a part, even a small part, in helping you reach the next level of your success.
Hey, but these small parts, that's the first step of the stairway. So I'm gonna look back in the future when, because I believe in it. I believe that I have what it takes to just kind of keep a personality and like keep entertaining
Yep.
like conversation with people. So the first stepping stones are these episodes right here. So I'll always look back and
Definitely.
be like, this is where it all began, and now look where it's at, and then hopefully from there just keep improving, keep doing my best. But yeah. Again, thank you so much for joining me. We're gonna conclude just Joshin episode. It was amazing. It's probably, I don't want to be biased, but I think this is my favorite episode so far. It was
Thanks.
definitely fun to hear your stories, and the conversation was probably one of the better conversations we've had on the episode, or on the episode so far. So I appreciate it.
Thanks for joshing with me.
Yes, sir. But I want to thank everybody at home for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Drop a like, hit subscribe. I got plenty more episodes to come. And again, special thanks to Coach Frankie for the great episode. But as for now, I'll see you guys in the next episode of Just Joshin. Have a great night, wonderful day, whenever you're watching this. Peace.
Cheers.
Thanks, Coach.